Hello, Magic Keepers. Welcome back to my studio. This is Natifa. And today, I think I have found a solution to something that one of you guys asked me to think about was a way to store our baseboards and our Tim Holtz baseboards. So this one is kind of a combination, but this one is baseboards and transparency. But the baseboards are kind of these kind of like chipboard type deal situations that Tim creates. And they're really cool because you can do a lot of cool things with them. You can put them all over your artwork. Or I created an envelope with this. That was like my favorite envelope. I don't know where it went to, but it's around my studio somewhere. And they're just really great. And so the thing about baseboards is that they're a little bit heavier than just our regular ephemera. And so they're not as easy to store in the ephemera book as they might be. But I think I have found a solution to that. So if you're interested in learning more about this, stay tuned. Okay. So the thing I discovered about, again, baseboards is that they're heavy. And so I needed to use something that was a little bit heavier and that would, kind of let the baseboard stick to without it falling off, because it's easy for these to fall off because they're heavy. And so when gravity hits, either side, they just sort of like, they need something very, very sturdy. And so the idea that I had was to laminate cardstock, a very specific kind of cardstock, and a very specific type of laminating pouch to kind of do this. Because in my mind, I said, okay, if I need something to stick, I want it to stick to like the plastic because I know it's going to come off, but I need it sturdy enough to be able to hold this on both sides. Okay, so that's essentially the idea. So I'm going to show you guys how I created this, and it's double-sided, as you can see here. And I mean, it's been working. I initially, when somebody requested this, I started to work on the problem in my head. And so since then, I've been testing to see if this is actually going to work. I've kind of tweaked the process a little bit to make sure that it stayed on. For the most part, these will stay on. There were some that were kind of falling off, and I was trying to figure out why it was falling off. And I think I figured out what I needed to do to make them stick on there. And so I've put these in binders. You can see I've done a binder holes on here. And I have stood them up in a basket to see if that'll work best, or I've laid them flat in a basket as well to see if that is going to work better or whatnot. So for these, I think any one of those worked. Like I said, I tested them. The binder works, the basket works. It just depends on what you want to do with it. So let's jump in. Okay, so now this process is a little bit more involved than just sticking things into your ephemera book, okay? I'm going to walk you guys through the process to see how I created it, and then we'll kind of go from there. So the supplies you're going to need is cardstock. So I am using, I think this is like 110-pound cardstock that I got off Amazon. I'll put the link in the description box so you guys can see it. And then I have these laminating pouches that are at least, you want at least 5 millimeters. Don't do 3. 5 and above is what? This one is 5. Because again, you're trying to create something that's very sturdy, okay? You're still going to need your Tombow little tape runner here like we use for our ephemera book. And then obviously you're going to need your you're going to need a laminator and your baseboards. Okay, so let's do this. All right, so I've got my laminator is already heating up. I think it's ready to go. So I'm just going to grab one of these. I'm going to do 3 of these because I don't really know how many I will need for the stash. So let's just put this in here. Now, if you want to like do any kind of designs on your paper, you're more than welcome to. I'm not, because who has time for that? Ain't nobody got time for none of that. Okay. Let's see here. All right, let's push this up here, and I'm just going to put this in here like this. Okay, so we have these all done. I am just going to grab some alcohol and just wipe these down. You don't need to do that, but I think I'm still trying to figure out ways to kind of make this stuff as clean as possible when you're going to do your actual sticking down. So I just want to get all of my fingerprints off and all the oils off my finger because I tend to put lotion on before I film, like most people. So I just want to make sure there's not a lot of like oil on this. So again, it's not necessary if you're not filming anything, but if you are, something for you to consider. Okay. All right. And then I'm just going to punch these with my 3-hole puncher just because in case I want to put them in a binder. You don't have to do this as well. This is optional. So like if you're going to put this in a basket or just somewhere in a drawer, you don't need to do all of this. And I think, oh, nope, I have this upside down, but that's okay. This way. There we go. All right, so that's it for the prepping section or process. So I'm just gonna grab my my ephemera, my baseboards, and just sort of lay them out like how I want them on here. I kind of want all of these together. I will say that you want to try to put equal weight on both sides of the paper so that way it's not leaning to, I don't think it really matters, but just in case, just in case. You can do that. There's this one over here. Hold on. Put this up here. Let's see if any more. Of these are kind of going this way. All right, and then down here, and down here. Enjoy the journey. All right. So I've kind of laid my pieces out, and this is what I want it to look like. Kind of cool. And so all I'm going to do now is just grab my my permanent adhesive tape, and I'm going to glue this down. Now, what I have found is that when you're gluing this down, you have got to put the tape on both the laminated cardstock and the piece. Okay, it just creates a little bit more, I was going to say safety, but I think adhesion to it. And you want to be as generous as you can with this one on here. Okay, so I put that on there, and I also put some tape on here, and I'm just going to put that down, and I'm going to press it down as hard as I can to make sure it's stuck there. Okay. So for larger pieces, I just stand them up after I've put the tape on the back of it to see where I need to put tape on here. And it's moving before I do that. And then I just put it down. So if you do these and yours starts to fall off, that just means it doesn't have enough adhesion to it. And that's why, again, I decided I was going to remove any oils from my hands, because I manipulated the other one pretty severely before I started gluing things down. And I don't know, for me, again, these little books or binders that we create, I just think they're pieces of art in of themselves because they're just beautiful to me. I love to look at all of the supplies that we have, you know, from Idea-ology, and it's just, I don't know. So I like them. Now, I know people are going to ask, well, can these come off? Of course they can, because what you're dealing with here is plastic, right? You have plastic on the back. It's, you know, it's kind of like the book. It's like you have plastic on the back, you have paper on the back, and it's just going to come off. So I just go through and just lift it off like that. And then I can always put it back. And if I'm missing, if I need some additional adhesion, adhesive, I just put some more on there. So it'll come off. If you want to, let's say you have some stuff on your board or your cardstock, and you want to get it off, I recommend using some alcohol and just sort of wipe that off, and it'll come off. Or you can use your finger or something sharp to kind of move it off, and it'll come off eventually, but it'll come off. And again, for me, I don't really care because I'm just going to put more on there. So I tend not to fret about that stuff. Something I noticed with these is that when you're putting these on, you want to put on like, you want to put on your tape in the middle, okay? Because sometimes what I found was that these are curved a little bit. You see that little curve? It's not a lot, but it's curved a bit. And if you can, you know, if you put your tape on the left and the right side, it's going to come off. But if you put it in the middle, it tends to stay there a little bit more. Sometimes they fall off because they're kind of curved a bit, but they don't get too crazy, honestly. So all right, so here's our first one. And you can see they're all kind of just on there. See that? All right, so we're going to flip this over and we'll see if any of them fall off, because they might, to be honest with you. But again, I'm still testing these. So I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to use some more alcohol to wipe this down because I got my fingerprints all over it again. any oils in my hands I want off of this. So I don't know. Okay, awesome. Let's see these. And okay. So we're gonna catalog the rest of these, and I'm just gonna probably speed this up so that you guys can, you know, don't have to watch me do this in real time. Now that we've done the front page. So that's what I'll do now. Okay. So here we have this side and here we have this side. So now we have two sides done. All right, I'm going to keep going. Okay, push these down to make sure they're secure really well onto their glued portions. Do the same for these. And voila, there we go. Okay, so we have this one. We have this one with this on the back. And we have this one. This is the one we did earlier. So, so I will say, when it comes to these, again, any opportunity you get to kind of just push them down, go ahead and do that. If you're using them, if you're looking at them, just kind of give a little love tap to them, okay? So they stay put. But I really like these because, again, you can see how they stack on top of each other really, really nicely. And so that's why I think they can just fit into a basket if you want to do that. If you can stand them up like this, you may have some pieces that may fall off, but again, you can just stick them back on there. Make sure you use some alcohol to clean it off your lamination, your laminated cardstock. Is what I'm trying to say. And then kind of go from there. And these will come off, and you can use them, or you can put them back if you're not going to use them. You know, if you need to use like a little, you know, palette knife to get underneath there, you can do that. But they'll come off, and I don't get too much tearing from them. So they've been pretty decent for me, and I've been pretty happy with what I've seen so far. So this is just a way for me to kind of store my baseboards. And hopefully you guys like them. So let's put them into a binder and test it. Because again, I've been testing these to make sure. But it might act crazy today because we have company. So you know how that goes. So let's just see what happens. So I'm going to put this one in the bottom. This one on top. Oh, see, I already see a problem. Don't cover your holes when you're doing this. Yeah, this is there pretty good. All right, so don't cover your holes. And so here we go. So now we have, come up a little bit here so you guys can see more. Okay, so don't you just love this view? I love that. Anyway, so we have our this, and so it just come this way like that. If it's in a binder, and it does what it needs to do like that. See? So I love that, right? Isn't that awesome? And now you have your little binder of baseboards. Just glorious. Okay? All right. So that's our baseboard. Cool. Now, if you guys have any questions about anything that we did today, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Please be kind, because some people have been a little bit testy with me, and I don't appreciate that. But whatever. If you have questions, let me know in the comments. And if you want to try something, if you see something that I didn't do that you were like, that's a better idea, I encourage you to go for it. You try it and you share it with us. I am doing the best that I can to help with things that people ask me to. And so that's what I'm doing here. If you don't like my channel, I'm kind of on a soapbox here, but if you don't like what I do, that is okay too. You don't have to follow. You don't have to watch the video. I will not be upset with you, honestly. So do what you need to do. Take care of yourself. I hope you guys learned something. I hope this works for you all. Yeah. Hope you guys continue to live life in courage, and definitely, definitely make someone's day. Okay? Again, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm Natifa, and I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Bye.